Darth, Theorist, rise.
What if Anakin was trapped in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. Anakin pants as he braces himself for another attack. Several older Jedi Knights circle him and swing their lightsabers at him. He turns and faces each one, blocking their attacks in quick succession before pushing them back. He explodes into movement, his lightsaber whirling around him and meeting their blows with his own. One by one, he manages to overcome these warriors and beats them back. In the end, he is declared the winner of this duel. However, as Anakin grabs some water, he is not yet satisfied. That fight didn't have the same intensity as the one with Dooku. It wasn't even close. Dooku was a blade master with decades of experience under his belt. These Jedi, while skilled, were just knights more familiar with defeating pirate gangs or security droids than real lightsaber fights. If he is to rise to surpass him, it won't be enough. Anakin glances over at his robotic hand, which clenches into a fist. He will need to do much more than that.
Anakin, you're spending a lot of time here. You won't be any good running yourself ragged like this. Go get some rest.
How can I rest when we're on the cusp of war, Master?
The rest of the Jedi Order can manage. I'm certain you can as well.
The rest of the Jedi Order doesn't have to deal with my destiny.
And you think spending your time here from dusk till dawn will help you?
It's the only way I can catch up to Count Dooku.
Anakin, Dooku is indeed a skilled blade master, but simple training and physical ability aren't the only reasons for that. He spent years meditating in the Force, studying philosophy, and becoming one with the Force. If you truly must throw yourself into training, you cannot afford to ignore that side either.
And yet all of the meditation and philosophy didn't stop him from falling into the dark side.
It doesn't suddenly make that work invalid. Balance isn't just about light and dark. It's also about strength and mind.
He turns to leave to meet with Master Windu, leaving Anakin to ponder everything he says about the Force. Although Anakin finds it hard to ever see Dooku as a wise philosopher or anything like that, he tries to take his master's word to heart. Soon after, he begins to spend more time in the archives, poring over texts regarding the Force. While he tries to understand the ideas behind it, such things never interest the Jedi. He sees the Force as a tool, rather than a concept. So as he presses on, none of the teachings stick. But as he goes through the texts, he finds many half-forgotten holograms, old records of holy sites, and things he never imagined existed. Among those holocrons is one that even some of the Jedi have forgotten in an obscure section of the Jedi archives. It is an old record that survived ancient times, since the era of the Jedi Order, and how they used to train. It discusses how they had used ancient stasis chambers to train their warriors, whether it is mastering the light or dark side. These time chambers would allow them to train for years, while only days passed in the rest of the galaxy. Anakin immediately recognizes the opportunity these chambers provide him. If he can access one, he'll be able to train further in a fraction of the time. Unfortunately, as he reads, they claim that most of these chambers were destroyed in the fall of the Jedi Order. However, he isn't going to give up so easily and takes the document with him. The war continues to rage, and Anakin takes charge of the counteroffensive against the CIS. The first few battles across the Outer Rim immediately show just how violent the war is. Dozens of Jedi fall, even with the clone army. They are unused to commanding such large armies or facing off against swarms of droids. The casualties in this battle are horrendous. Though Anakin adapts better than most, he is like a pond standing in front of a raging inferno. There is only so much he can do, and each death weighs heavily on his mind as he recalls his promise of becoming strong enough to prevent people from dying. When he isn't organizing battle plans or leading troops, he continues to consult with that document to try and learn more information. Though he's read it over a dozen times at this point, he continues to meditate with it, keeping it close to him in hopes of revealing more information. During one of these meditation sessions, he feels the Force energies of this map begin to pulse as he lays his hand on it. Images suddenly flash across the young Jedi's mind, and he stumbles over. But rather than fight it, he welcomes what it has to offer. He sees it. One of those stasis chambers is still active. It is on a lush green planet, reminding him of Naboo. The chamber looks like a normal building, with a patio and two massive hourglasses. As that vision fades, Anakin reaches out toward them, trying to learn where it is. When he wakes up, Anakin announces he will go on a scouting mission and will be gone for a few days. While some of his clone officers are concerned, they do not stop him and let him go. The Jedi starfighter cuts through hyperspace, its blue tunnel collapsing into the black void of space. Ahead lies a small, isolated world, untouched by the war. blue oceans, sprawling continents, and white clouds. Earth. Anakin steadies his breathing as he descends through the atmosphere. He grips the parchment tightly, letting it guide him towards the location of the last hyperbolic time chamber. He lands at the summit of a great column of rock that pierces the sky like a spear. The lookout. The air here is thin, but charged with calm energy. At the far end of the platform, 2 figures await him. A tall, aged, green-skinned guardian in flowing robes, and a dark-skinned attendant with wide, watchful eyes. Kami stands with his hands behind his back. Mr. Popo simply watches, expression unreadable.
You have traveled far, stranger. I sense turmoil. I hope you do not bring trouble to our lands here, boy.
I do not seek trouble, nor do I bring it. I'm interested in your stasis chamber. I wish to use it to train.
The chamber is not some toy for others to train with. It is a device of immense power that is only accessible to those worthy.
I understand. I do not come here on a whim, but because of necessity. There is a war raging across the stars. A war that spans a galaxy and has already claimed billions. Many of my friends have perished. I want to become stronger, so I can do my part in ending it.
Kami closes his eyes, then raises his staff towards the boy. The force, or whatever energy flows here, hums quietly through him.
I sense your intentions are pure, but even the purest desires can be corrupted. You wish to end suffering, but such power does not come without a cost.
I've paid many costs already. My arm, my peace. If I can become strong enough, I can stop all of it.
Only a few may enter. Time moves differently there. 1 year inside equals 1 day outside. But what you take in with your heart will echo forever. Very well. You may enter. But remember, strength gained without spirit brings no balance.
Anakin bows briefly, though impatience flickers behind his eyes. Both men step inside as the doors part, revealing an endless void of white stretching beyond sight. The air feels light, suffocatingly so, all while the ground feels heavy on his feet, making even moving difficult. The temperature shifts between scorching heat and biting cold. Anakin steps inside, lightsaber clipped to his belt. As the door seals, silence consumes him. Then he begins. He trains without rest, igniting his blade, carving through phantom foes conjured by the Force. They come in various shapes. Criminals, droids, and other beasts. They fight like them too. Here, Anakin learns how to face off against different foes. What are their strengths and weaknesses? He deflects imaginary blaster bolts, channels energy into massive bursts, hurls himself into the air, and strikes down. Each movement becomes faster, sharper, more deliberate as he understands his foes. Days pass, months, years, for him. But those shadow foes are the least of his troubles. The greatest obstacle that comes for him is this world itself, which changes from hot to cold, light to heavy, the blank landscape stretching out seemingly for eternity. Anakin is careful not to stray too far, but the unforgiving conditions test him. His only comfort is the Force as he learns to trust in it. When the air grows so thin that he can hardly breathe, he uses it to help place him in a trance that slows his body down. When thick fog rolls in that leaves him barely able to see, he uses the Force to guide him. During times of extreme weather, Anakin uses it to help his body adjust. It allows him to better endure the cold by keeping him warm, or by allowing his body to reflect off the heat when the icy winds come flashing. Kami and Mr. Popo observe from the doorway whenever the chamber opens for brief moments. Inside, Anakin has grown harder, his eyes colder, his body honed like steel.
He learns quickly, but he listens to nothing. He pushes beyond limits, but the peace inside him grows quiet.
They attempt to guide him. Meditations beneath the hourglasses, quiet conversations about harmony. They teach Anakin that this world is not as unpredictable as he thinks. There are patterns, and if he waits and listens, he can understand them. Anakin nods, but never truly hears. There is no point in anticipating patterns when his power allows him to endure everything. Why wait when he can ask now?
He has become a storm pretending to be calm. We cannot teach one who has already decided what truth is.
Anakin continues. When the door finally opens again, the man who steps out is changed, stronger than ever. But the serenity Kami had hoped to see remains absent. Only powers remain. He was there for 7 years, but most of the galaxy only reported him missing for a week. When Anakin returns to the front lines, the clones immediately sense something different about him. They watch in shock as he personally leads the charge against an advancing droid army on Christophsis. Though he faces a rain of blaster fire, the Jedi continues to advance until he gets into swinging range with his lightsaber. A massive shockwave erupts as Anakin cuts through the droids left and right, each blow sending dozens flying. The clones watch as he stands in the center of the army, but everything within his lightsaber's range is devastated. He doesn't slow down, and he follows up with a quick burst of force energy that continues to throw droids aside. Some of the tri-droids try to unleash their blaster beams at him, but the Jedi parries each one. His force powers are helping him resist the concentrated heat. His clones watch in shock before slowly rousing themselves and following after him. They rain down blaster bolts into the fray, joining the counterattack and driving the droids back. What should have been a drawn-out campaign ends in a matter of days because of Anakin. Many planners can hardly believe this. However, it soon proves to be more than a one-time thing, as in the ensuing battles, Anakin's success is quickly stunning. By the end of the year, they've managed to reclaim the entire sector. This leaves the Jedi and clones all wondering what happened in the week Anakin was missing. Soon enough, some of the Jedi take notice and wish to learn from Anakin. A group of younger Jedi who are still struggling to deal with the war approach him, asking for help in growing stronger so they can also do their part. For a time, Anakin doesn't tell them about the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. He recalls the warning that Kami gave him about how dangerous it was and restrains himself. Instead, he shows them the techniques that he used to survive. His focus on the Force is not to work with it, but to bend it to his will and serve his needs. While it is slow going, these Jedi soon begin to grow stronger as well. With the war dragging on, their experience and skill help stem the tide and slowly push the CIS back. Many begin to whisper that the future of the Jedi Order lies with Anakin, not the Jedi Council, and the younger Jedi Knights rally to his side. Even a few older masters who are growing disillusioned by the Jedi Council give their support. Palpatine watches all of this from the shadows, smiling as he sees this as an opportunity to turn Anakin against the Jedi before this even happens. With his growing strength, he proves himself to be a powerful warrior, and he begins to feed into his head the questions of why he bothers to follow the Jedi.
My boy, the Senate cannot get enough of your recent success on the battlefield. They now see you as the future of the Republic. With a few more battles like that, we can have the Separatists on the ropes.
Thank you, Chancellor. But their thanks isn't what I'm after. I only seek to end the war as quickly as possible.
I understand. How modest of you. But surely you can see that even when this war ends, big changes must be made to ensure nothing like this happens in the future.
I will leave that to the Jedi to figure out. My only sights are set on winning these battles. Now, if you excuse me, I must return to the front and plan my next battle.
But before Palpatine can reply, Anakin bows his head and marches off, leaving him gaping in shock. Slowly, an uncomfortable truth begins to sink in. Anakin is already more powerful than the Jedi Council. He might even be more powerful than Palpatine. That raises the question of why he would even need to bother listening to them anymore. Suddenly, Anakin looks less and less like the ideal apprentice, and more like a threat to his plan. Palpatine frowns and watches the Jedi go. This is a delicate situation, and he continues to observe Anakin in the coming weeks. The Jedi camp continues to rampage across the Outer Rim, driving back the CIS, and actually making progress faster than expected. There is a risk that he can win the war outright, instead of drawing this conflict out. While he can certainly overshadow the Jedi Order, there is now a risk that he may overshadow Palpatine himself. The Chancellor tries to approach him, tries to convince him to cooperate, and whispers that they can help each other. But Anakin's only focus now is combat. He did not dedicate 7 years of his life to anything else. Dooku also tries to slow him down, using whatever tactics, weapons, and traps he can to defeat Anakin. Yet none of these slows him down, as no matter what he throws, Anakin's power is unlike anything he's ever seen. The young Jedi soon becomes known as the Jedi whose strength surpasses tactics, and now they begin to lose beyond what they were expecting. After another string of victories, he begins to push for an even larger offensive.
Masters, you can see that we have the droids on the run. Our success is allowing us to continue to push forward. We need to take advantage of that momentum and press right into the heart of the Separatist space. If our fleet can capture Dooku or Sereno, then we can end this war right now.
Anakin, that is an ambitious plan you have, but I must point out that all of this hinges on success. If we cannot accomplish these goals, we risk leaving ourselves overextended and risk being surrounded.
It won't come to that. I won't let it.
You, young one?
Yes, me. The one who is winning battle after battle.
Great your victories were. Denying that, we are not. But this plan is different. A great gamble we are taking with it.
And if we don't take it, we condemn the galaxy to suffer for how many more years of this senseless conflict?
How many countless will die before we can claim victory? Those are questions I'd rather not have to deal with, and I'm offering you the solution. Now, will the Jedi hide from this because the choice is difficult? Or will they seize the moment and take this chance at success?
The Jedi Council members glance at one another in surprise. Obi-Wan is stunned, Mace weary, and Yoda narrows his eyes. There is more than simple passion in his eyes. There is fire and arrogance. Both of those would be a recipe for disaster if left unchecked, and yet none of them can refute what Anakin says. Soon enough, an offensive sets out as Anakin is given a new flotilla of ships. His battalions reinforced, and many of his most trusted knights are assigned to him. Before long, they begin to strike across Separatist space. Once Anakin identifies the weakest points for an attack, his troops pour forward and pierce the Separatist defenses like a spear point. The droids buckle against the combined assault, driving them back and forcing them to give ground. It is exactly as Anakin predicted. So rather than facing him head-on, Dooku instead has his droids begin to give ground and surrender territory in order to preserve strength. Then he begins to organize a counterattack. Facing Anakin is too dangerous, so instead they target the Jedi who follow him. The supply lines are raided, and captured territory is recaptured once the Republic leaves. All of this serves both to harass and disrupt the offensive, but also to force the Jedi to break off, as Anakin must remain in the front in order to keep the momentum going. While these Jedi are highly skilled, they can only do so much, and Dooku sends his best soldiers to harass them. They begin to whittle their defenses down and take them out one by one. Each death weighs heavily on Anakin's mind as he continues to press forward. His strength is enough to carry him forward, but the rest of the Jedi begin to doubt. They see their friends falling and question why they have not yet reached the same level as Anakin. Then one of their worst battles takes place, where no fewer than 10 Jedi lose their lives in a CIS counterattack. This time, there is no silencing the dissent as all the Jedi gather and question what they must do. They insist that Anakin is hiding something, and if he is, he must reveal it to them. The situation has reached a critical stage, and they will need every advantage. While he tries to refuse, they grow tense, even mutinous, as they demand to know why Anakin is refusing to share knowledge that can potentially save their lives. Seeing no other way to calm them down, Anakin reluctantly orders them to follow him. He leaves a small garrison of Jedi plus the clones to hold their gains, while his most trusted followers head with him back to Earth. Anakin's gunship descends through the clouds, slicing through the golden light of the setting sun. Below him lies the familiar floating sanctuary, the lookout. The moment he steps onto its white tiles again, a strange stillness greets him. Kami and Mr. Popo await him at the far end of the platform. He gestures toward the sky, where distant thunder rolls. His robes are tattered, his mechanical hand scorched and dented. Behind him, several young Jedi, his most devoted followers, emerge, eyes full of desperate faith.
You have returned. I had no choice. My soldiers are falling. My allies are dying. I thought I could end this war, but now it spreads faster than ever. I can't fight this war alone anymore. The chamber, it's the only way they can catch up.
You have already used what should never be used. Do you truly believe more will fix what less has broken?
I don't have time for riddles. Every second wasted means more dead.
The chamber magnifies what is inside. If your heart carries guilt, anger, or fear, it will multiply that too.
Then they'll have to learn to bear it, as I did before.
Have you considered that what you did before is the cause of this turmoil?
Are you blaming me for this war?
No, but you had your role, my boy. It is as I told you. Those who have the noblest of intentions are not immune from straying from the righteous path. Now ask yourself, what is it that you intend to do before you step inside? Is it to bring balance, or to obtain power?
I mean to end the war.
He turns toward the massive doors of the chamber. His followers hesitate, but his confidence draws them in. Suddenly, ships begin to appear out of hyperspace as CIS ships fill the sky. Though Anakin hoped to keep them occupied, the Count was observing Anakin's movements slowly. Once they saw him leaving, he immediately set out after him. His yellow eyes narrow as his sensors pick up the coordinates.
Sir, this is the source of Skywalker's strength. A planet beyond our maps. I shall inform my master. If I cannot destroy him on the battlefield, I shall destroy his sanctum.
Hundreds of droid dropships descend like black meteors through the Earth's skies. Sirens echo as across the lookout, Popo rushes to the edge, eyes widening as fireballs streak downward through the clouds.
Kami, the sky burns.
What's happening?
The war you sought to end has followed you here.
The first explosions ripple through the air as separatist gunships breach the upper atmosphere. Droid battalions deploy, swarming toward the lookout. Blaster fire rains across the white tiles. Anakin leaps into the fray, cutting through the first wave of droids in a blur of blue light. His disciples fight beside him, but their movements are clumsy compared to his. Their power barely awakened. While they still cut down many droids, their numbers are slowly whittled back. This slowly begins to hamstring Anakin as he cannot fight with his full strength, instead having to focus on turning back and helping them as well, instead of just focusing on destroying his enemies. Anakin blocks another barrage, hurling debris back with a massive force wave that shatters his squadron midair. The shock wave trembles across the platform. He cuts down another droid, fury surging through every motion. His blade burns brighter, almost white-hot, as if his power itself is breaking. Kami places a hand on the tiles, the platform trembling under the force of Anakin's rage.
The Force recoils from him now. He has become powerful without a spirit.
Blaster fire scorches white tiles as more dropships descend through the clouds. The wind howls, carrying the smell of ozone and smoke. The lookout trembles under the storm of war. Kami steps forward, robes fluttering in the rising heat. Mr. Popo moves beside him, silent, his eyes glowing faintly as he raises a hand toward the sky. The ancient guardian and his servant have watched countless centuries pass, but never a battle like this.
Protect the chamber, no matter what happens. As you wish, Kami.
Popo gestures, and the air ripples. Beams of energy lance from his hands, striking gunships midair and sending them spiraling into the clouds below. Kami closes his eyes, chanting in Old Tongue. The sky darkens. Bolts of lightning split the heavens, striking clusters of droids as they descend. The white serenity of the lookout transforms into a war zone. Droids swarm the platform, their metallic feet pounding across the tiles. Popo moves faster than any eye can track, intercepting blaster bolts with a blur of motion, shattering droids with open palms that strike like thunderclaps. Kame channels his power through the staff, conjuring shimmering barriers that shield the chamber doors.
We will remind them that the heaven still has guardians.
Their combined power sends a pulse of divine energy outward, scattering another wave of invaders. Yet above them, the sky opens again. Larger ships now emerge from the clouds.
Earth's defenders, hear me. The lookout is under siege. Aid us. Now.
Across the planet, Goku, Gohan, Piccolo, Vegeta, and the Dragon Team lift their heads as the call echoes in their minds.
The Guardian's in trouble.
Then we don't have time to waste. Let's go.
Moments later, golden light streaks through the clouds, auras flaring as the Dragon Team rockets towards the lookout. The first impact shakes the heavens as Vegeta tears through a massive dropship, his blast igniting its core. Goku appears beside Kame, his fists crackling with energy.
Guess you could use a hand, huh?
You're right on time, Son Goku.
He raises his fist and punches through a wave of droids that have already landed. Behind him, Gohan rushes to help. The defenders rally, energy waves clash with blaster fire, but while the droids are outmatched, their numbers are endless, and some of the battleships soon turn their heavy guns on the new arrivals to try and destroy them. Anakin watches this and sees the defenders are less strained. He glances at the destruction, his fingers closing into a fist as he shakes his head. Though they are holding their own quite well, one thing is clear. Anakin is to blame for this. He was the one who brought these monsters here. He looks around, seeing the destruction rain down on this place, and shakes his head. In the sky, he watches as Kami helps take down a squadron of vulture droids, but when he glances back, he can see the disapproval in the man's eyes. Anakin cannot bear to look at him, but there is no time to waste. They are already here, and the droids have come. However, there is no point in holding back, not when things are within their grasp. He opens the gates to the hyperbolic chamber and leads his followers inside. Popo looks toward the horizon, where another shadow gathers. A dark, hooded figure steps out from a shuttle descending through the flames. Small, black, and wreathed in crimson energy. It voids combat and instead hurries towards the ground. The ramp lowers, and Palpatine steps out, robes trailing like shadows given form.
So much potential wasted on mercy.
You do not belong here, stranger. This is sacred ground.
Oh, I belong wherever the balance tips toward power.
He raises a hand, and lightning bursts forth, striking the lookout. The energy crawls across the platform like living fire, seeping into the seams of the tiles until it reaches the hyperbolic time chamber. The structure hums, then shudders, as Palpatine forces his will upon that building. When Kami tries to stop him, a nearby frigate turns its turbo blasters upon him and forces him aside. Anakin stands in the center of the chamber, the storm gathering around him. The normally pristine landscape is now turning gray and cloudy. His followers huddle behind, terrified.
What's happening?
The icy air blasts against them, leaving even the Jedi shivering as they huddle close together. Because of that, they are unable to react as the shadows grow larger and begin to surround them. They swarm them and begin to rise from the ground. They raise their lightsabers just as the first one steps out of the mist. Although they are shrouded in shadow, they appear as copies of himself, cloaked in shadows and lightsabers igniting as their eyes burn red. They rush him and his students. The clash is blinding as each shadow fights with the same precision, speed, and fury that he once used to crush armies, but now those instincts work against him. Every strike he makes, they anticipate. Every surge of power, they absorb. Anakin does not back down, slashing savagely as he tries to keep them back, relying on the other Jedi to swarm him as he takes them down one by one. This seems to work at first, as while one defends against two Jedi's attacks, Anakin drives his weapon through his heart. When another comes from behind, a Jedi Master tackles him, and Anakin takes his head. A third leaps up, but Anakin rolls aside and slashes him across the chest. However, even as these warriors fall, more rise to take their place. They begin to reform and attack once again, never tiring, never breaking. His followers are not so lucky, as despite their bravery they cannot match him. His followers cry out as the chamber trembles and they begin to fall. Their screams echo across his ears, leaving him shaking his head in disbelief. He realizes just how critical the situation is, and just how badly outmatched he is. His powers are not enough to carry him, and without that, he finds himself utterly helpless. He falls to one knee, panting, surrounded by specters of himself. For the first time in years, his mind is silent. He closes his eyes and remembers Obi-Wan's voice, calm and patient. He looks at his terrified followers. They believe in him, they rely on him, and now they face their deaths because of him. He shakes his head. No, he will not allow it. He orders them to scatter and to try and save themselves. While confused, none of them protest and break up in different directions. He rises slowly, deactivating his lightsaber. The shadows pause as they surround him. One move and they will cut him down, but Anakin does not respond with aggression. He takes a few deep breaths and then raises his hand. For the first time, he does not think of what it offers him, but simply what it is. When Anakin opens them, he sees the beauty of this place, for the first time appreciating the Hyperbolic Time Chamber for what it is. He spreads his hands, and the Force shifts. The chamber brightens. The air calms. One by one, the shadows dissolve into light. As the remaining Jedi gather around him, he looks around and sees the chamber door opening. Palpatine screams as he feels his powers faltering. Worse, he can sense the battle turning against him. The lookout burns, but the Dragon team drives the droids back. Goku's Kamehameha lights up the sky, obliterating an entire cruiser. Vegeta smashes through another with a roar. Even Dooku sees this and orders a retreat. Palpatine senses the shift and snarls, turning toward the chamber to confront Anakin himself. The Jedi's eyes glow faintly, not with fury, but clarity.
So you are the Sith? Fool. I would have become your master. I would have made you more.
You would have made me what you wanted. Nothing more.
Palpatine raises his hand to strike, but Anakin moves faster, leaping over the attack and readying his lightsaber. He raises it up to block the first blow, but Anakin smiles and suddenly thrusts his hand forward. A burst of Force energy sends Palpatine stumbling inside the chamber. The doors slam shut with a thunderous echo.
You have learned, at last, what strength truly is.
But you know he can never be allowed to leave.
He will not. We will make sure of it.
With that, Anakin and his followers return to the front. Though their offensive loses its momentum, they at last have a chance to retreat as Dooku's own forces are in disarray and cannot hunt them down. Still, for the second time the Jedi are surprised by Anakin's return as they see him changed yet again. The boy who emerges is calming, wiser. He leads his followers as such, and they continue to fight in the Clone Wars, driving back the CIS as they become the spearhead to end the war. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.